Hello everyone, I am Dustin. You are watching Steeplehead Studios. Today we're going to look at these Mortal Gods Test of Courage miniatures that I got sent in. It's a new game coming in 2019 and we're gonna pop open these resin minis, look at some Sarissa precision basing system they've got for the game going, and then compare them to some models that I've got here already done up or built together. Before we jump into these fellows here, I just want to say that the Kickstarter project that we were running has been successfully funded. Now you may have noticed it's been a while since I released a YouTube video, and that's because we've been working hard on getting those items out and producing them. Also, just before I jump into this, I have really put off doing the Hail Caesar walkthrough, the rulebook walkthrough that I've been doing. I'm still stuck on the shooting, the last part of the shooting section in the rulebook, but I am hoping that I can start to finish that and just get through the rest of the book, and I'm going to try and make that my main content for the next few videos. Go on, maybe Mortal Gods will be out by the time I'm done. Hopefully I'm done sooner than that. Okay, so Mortal Gods Test of Courage. Now, from my understanding, they dropped the Test of Courage. What do you want to call it? They just call it Mortal Gods now. So Mortal Gods is due to come out in March 2019. They've already released the box art for the core box and the rules and all that. You can check it out on their Facebook page. I'll link it up in the description below. But they have already pre-released a bunch of resin models. So I've got the Styrix, however you pronounce it, they're musicians. I got two of them, and I got one of the Lotagos, or I don't know how to pronounce these Greek. Let's anglicize the names. Lotagos we'll call them. If I pronounce it wrong, I am sorry. But anyway, we're going to open up these and basically talk about how the game is proposed to be set up. You have a warband, your Lochos, from what I understand. I almost sound like I'm speaking Spanish, Lochos, but you have a Locos or Lochos, however you pronounce it. You have a warband, and you've got a leader, which is this fellow. In my case, would be him here. He's the leader, Lotagos. He kind of is the captain or the leader of this warband. And you build a warband, and you have skirmish battles with him. How the rules will turn out and how the game will run, I'm not sure yet. I've only seen some screenshots and the things they've released on Facebook, but that will be coming out, like I said, in March to see what else is included in the game. We'll just have to wait. So let's just pop these open. So before we do that, these are from Footsore Miniatures and the company and association on the back. They put warbanner.co.uk. So here we got Warbanner on the back, right? So Warbanner is the company that does Gangs of Rome. So these are the same kind of people. So if you played Gangs of Rome and you like Gangs of Rome, chances are you'll probably like Mortal Gods. I never got into it so much, but I like Greeks and Hoplites, so this is what we're gonna do. It says, "This is not a toy. Warning, avoid breathing dust. Good thing Canada has no dust." Harmful, what's harmful? I know what they're trying to say. They may say there's some residue in here that if you breathe it in, it'll be dangerous. So yeah, don't breathe in the dust if any dust comes out. It might be anthrax. Well, it might not be anthrax, but you know, it's harmful, don't do it. So let's open these up. Let's see if I can do it with one hand. Always a challenge. These are all in resin. And they were online on Footsore Miniatures for a limited amount of time until they sold out, basically. From my understanding, they're not making any more resin versions of these, but the metal ones will come out soon. They only made a limited amount of resin. I just jumped on it early to show my support. I don't think I can open this with one hand, so I'm going to put down the camera and try and open it with both hands. There, let's pop her open. So, I really like this art that they've included. There's lots of lovely art that you can see on Facebook, and it's just beautiful stuff. So Mortal Gods there, let's pop it open. It's just like any old gaming blister. But here we got a bunch of resin pieces. I'm not the biggest fan of resin, but if they're in small pieces and sturdy pieces like this, I'm okay. I'm forgiving on that. But normally I stick away from resin, stick with metal and hard plastics. So what do we got going here? So that's the first guy, the medium Lotagos, and we've basically got his body with a ton of extra residue pieces there, but that's fine, easy to cut off. You can see he's got a sheath there, he's got a scabbard, his sword is out. This guy's almost got his toga falling off. You see how he's only got you see how he's only got the his left there covered and then the right is kind of revealing? Man, those Greeks, they knew how to dress back in the day, eh? And he's got some hair coming off his back there. So obviously we're going to be taking this awesome looking helmet. And you can see how stylistic and crazy it is. This is why I chose this one, because I love this double plume, this double comb going on here. So, and the detail on these is awesome. The guy's yelling and he's got, he's in a battle cry or something. Maybe he's giving orders to the warband. I don't know. But the details on them are really, really nice. I'm going to have fun painting this guy, I think. And then, I don't know what's going on here, but it looks like they gave you the option of having two different swords. You get a smaller one, and then a big old machete. Because one's going on the, one is obviously, one of these arms here rather, is obviously going to be having this shield on here, which also still has the residue pieces on there, which is fine. Oh wow, look at all that, all the stuff behind the shield. That's nice, the tassels, and this, I like this because they made it very clear on where the hand should sit. Some of the Victrix shields are just straight, and I always think, like, where should I put it? But now this kind of answers all the questions. It's very well marked and detailed on how to put the shield down. And the swords, they almost look like skeleton hands right now. But obviously that again is the residue or the extra pieces you have to chop off. So I'll probably give him the biggest sword because, you know, manly men have big swords, right? So we're going to do that with him and just put him together like that. So we'll put him aside now. Beautifully done. I love it. This is probably my favorite one out of all of them. Go check out Footsore Miniatures to see all the other resin models they released. They're sold out now, as I said, but you can go and check them out because they will come back in metal from my understanding. So yeah, go see them. Here's the Styrix, whatever you want to, however you want to pronounce it. But he's very basic. I like this guy because there's only a couple things to glue on. He's got the body, he's basically got a tunic. He's just some dude who's going to be having these pipes. Now the question is, how do these pipes work? Okay, he's just got a long, you can see all that, you know, there's big tubes there you have to trim off. They got that kind of double pipe going. And that's, I guess, why they call the Styrix, to carry this thing and play it. But I got two of these fellows because I want to put some in rank and file, and then I'll have one on a circle base. However, I'll have another one on the circle base, however it's presented in Mortal Gods. But again, you can just go up close and you can see they've done really well on the details. The facial expression is great. And this one's a very simple model. So that's what I got. I could have gotten more, but you know, Christmas was coming. There's other projects I want to do, and I'll get more when the more medals come out, right? So, those are the two models I have, and just to show you that the resin stuff is good, and Footsore Miniatures, these are the first items I got from Footsore Miniatures, and I'm impressed. We'll be buying again. I really think they're awesome. And this is the first thing I've got from Sarissa Precision, okay? The Footsore Miniatures also gave me some MDF circle bases, which basically match these ones, so we won't even look at that. But Mortal Gods uses circle bases, and they use these either bigger circle bases and these triangular, circular, I don't know, the curved triangular bases in this game. And if you look at the pictures, you'll see how warbands are set up and how each kind of group of units are set up. You get kind of 3 sets of hoplites on these bases, and then you get 1 set of skirmishers, which are 3 guys. And you see here, I've got circle bases here, but why are these squares? This is because I personally prefer square bases. I don't see circles being more beautiful or squares being more beautiful. I just like rank and file, like these Greeks here. I don't like the skirmish look so much. I like to be able to put them in a closed rank and file like that. So I always prefer square bases. So I asked Sarissa Precision to customize these for me. So if you're like me, you give them a shout on their website and they can make them for you like that. It didn't cost me anything extra. They just did it up. And I did it for all of the regular Joe kind of troops. The main troops on the circle bases, I'll just keep them on circle bases because chances are they're going to be leaders or generals or commanders in Hail Caesar. And the basing for that game doesn't matter when it's a general or a leader. So I'm going to rip this open and we're going to see what comes in a pack of this stuff for Mortal Gods. So you basically get 2 of the MDF cutouts here. So you'll have enough here to do 12? I can't count. You get 9 of these and 9 of these. You're going to have basically 18 guys, which is, you know, if you play Hail Caesar again and you do 160 millimeters fronts like I do, that's perfect. I can transform an entire unit of hoplites into a Mortal Gods warband. That's great. So each of these here on their MDF board, they just pop out like so. Right? It's got to be a little more gentle with this one, I think, so you don't break anything. The idea with these is that you're going to have them popped out like this. Well, I use these for skirmishers. But pop out like so. Let's take some of these hoplites that Paul White did. I got them from a commission artist, Paul White. And they're going to fit nicely if I can actually get them in there. 20 millimeters, come on. Well, just goes to show you that everyone's 20 millimeters is a bit different. So, almost fitting. But you get the idea. Even if they just sit on there, I'm content. And it'll end up looking something like so. Actually, you know what's probably even better? When I base these guys, I just use the MDF cutouts that they did, because these will probably sit side by side very well, yeah. And I'll just do that when I get to it. I will just use these and put like the Victrix Greeks on them, just so they fit nicely in there. But yeah, basically, you're gonna have something, just a set of 3 guys on a base for the hoplites anyway, looking like that. Okay, and then you also get these, I guess, cardboard. I'm assuming you put them underneath there, glue them on or something like that, just to protect it, just so you have a kind of a base underneath of it, so when you pick up the guys, they don't fall through. I may not use that or not, I don't know, but we'll see. So I'm going to set up all these guys just to give you kind of a look of what I've seen on Facebook. As I said, I've got no idea how the game runs out yet. I'm sure some people who have been paying more attention to the Facebook posts or been involved in the demo plane have a much better idea. But from what you've seen so far, you've got hoplite groups who operate in these triangles, and they're able to form phalanx. They're able to like move around individually from what I've gathered. And yeah, that's basically kind of one of the, let's call it the units in this game. I think it's a very unique way to base. I didn't really like I said, I'm not a big fan of the circle bases so much for regular guys. So the way I set them up here is perfect both for Mortal Gods and other rank and file games that I play. But yeah, that's what you'll see when you're playing. You're gonna have fellows running around like so. And then, from my understanding, the unit stats in this game are accompanied by cards, and they have stats and abilities on them, but I don't have any of that stuff yet. That'll be in a future video, something that I get when I get the core set out. I also supply you with some circle bases. Now, these bigger circle bases, I don't remember the size, 32 millimeter, I think I want to say, compared to the other ones. I think it's 25 millimeter circles and 32 millimeter circles. For the difference, I don't know because I'm using squares, but yeah, the heroes and the Lotagos, they will be on bigger bases, and they'll kind of be their own individual soldier or unit. They may be able to join the units and help the phalanx like this. I don't know. We'll see when the game comes out. But yeah, it's going to be something like that, where the individual heroes are on circle bases like so. And for me, like I said, this doesn't bother me in the least, because I can just have a Greek general or a leader leading my Hail Caesar army or other game armies when they're based like that on circles. Finally, we get the skirmish bases, which are in big circles here. So I don't have my skirmishers on me right now, but you can just imagine if they were slingers or archers or javelin men, peltasts or what have you, they would be, whoops, sitting like so, running around. And I think they're their own kind of little units, and they don't really operate as closely as the hoplites do with each other, but I'm not sure yet. We'll see when the game comes out. But yeah, I'm very impressed with the Sarissa Precision MDF. For some reason, I've always thought MDF sucked. All the MDF I've ever worked with is bent and broken. I'm like, maybe I'm using low quality, but this is excellent stuff. So I might even get some of the buildings. I used to say I don't like MDF buildings, but if they're in this quality, oh heck, I'll use it and just build up on them. So yeah, those are all the troop types and base types that I've collected so far. Finally, I want to look at these resin fellows that have come out of Footsore Miniatures and compare them next to Warlord games and Victrix models. Now, I think these ones were also sculpted by... Oh, it just says Warbanner. I thought maybe it would say the sculptor's name on the bottom, but I think it's by Stavros... I cannot pronounce your last name, sir. Stavros Z. I'll look it up quick. I apologize if I speak your name incorrectly, but Stavros here has been doing tons of sculpting for Warbanner and Mortal Gods, and it's just amazing. Like the stuff he's pumped out, he's got some Thracians on the go. I believe he did all of these earlier resin guys that we got. The musician, whatever he's done so far is just amazing stuff. And he's kind of, or so I've been told, been following the Victrix sculpts, or being rather close to them as possible. Now let's put one of their older Greeks beside the musician here, and I'll try and get them, I don't want to chop up this resin too much yet, but let's get them side by side. Maybe it's better if I just lay them down like so. Now you can see here, these Victrix models, especially the older Athen ones, the armored Victrix models, they're a bit older. Some of the oldest Victrix ancients out there, so they, in my opinion, some parts of them are strange. Like they've got a bigger head, the shield arm is definitely larger. Of course, who cares when you put the shield on, right? You're not even going to notice that. But height-wise and stature-wise, they're a similar kind of build, but I think this mini here and Stavros stuff that he's released, it looks better. But he's also doing it all by hand, I believe. So, but yeah, that's basically the Victrix one on the right and the new one on the left there. Now, when Victrix released their unarmored hoplites, they changed the size and the scale a bit, and I think alongside their unarmored hoplites, these new models actually look a lot better. I'm wondering if that's what they use to build on or scale next to the new guys. Now this the musician's not really bending his legs, you know, whereas this hoplite here, he's got a bit of a leg bend. So I mean, these two guys side by side, I think look lovely. And sorry the camera's so shaky here as I try and hold them up. So for me personally, from what I own, the older Victrix models kind of look a little more, I want to say smaller, bigger heads, not so much proportioned as well as the two guys on the left. And I don't think that's really a big deal though. When you got guys that are lined up and similar, they're all going to look awesome. So from a gaming point of view, that's perfectly fine by me. I will use all these fellows in this game if I get the chance. We should put this guy in here too, just because I don't have his head with me. But they're all of a similar size, or at least in a similar range. Again, I think the head that was sculpted here, again, you can see the head on the old Victrix models is kind of bigger, but that's okay. I don't mind so much. Now let's look at Warlords. There's one of Paul White's paintings, commissioned fellow online that I got these from, just a small unit he couldn't sell. I just bought them to use for demos. But there's the Warlords one, and you can see when I put a Victrix guy beside them. Maybe you can't see at that angle. Let's find a different hoplite. There we go. You can kind of see the size difference on Victrix. I mean, the heads are definitely the first thing you notice. Height-wise, I think it's okay, but the way Immortal Miniature is now sold by Warlord, the hoplites there have some smaller proportions, just a little bit. So beside this musician here, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. That works. So they actually kind of work out okay. The guy on the right, again, his helmet and head is probably a bit smaller, but I wouldn't have any problem using these guys side by side. So another thing I should point out too, is that these are all the ancient Hoplite heads. The classical Hoplites from Warlord games actually have slightly bigger heads. They added an extra sprue, and the heads inside there, some of them are actually a lot bigger than the old Ancients heads. So, if you do want to mix up your Warlord guys, let's see if I can show you here. If you do want to mix up your Warlord guys with the new fellows, I don't know if you can really tell. Come on, get in there. Maybe that's better. Anyway, I think the classical heads aren't so bad. I think they're a little bigger. The new guys from Mortal Gods that are coming out and from Footsore Miniatures, they probably match up a bit better to Victrix. They're pretty close to the Warlord ones too, so if you own Warlord games and you want to get some new models like Commanders and stuff, just for Mortal Gods, I think they would still mesh in okay. They're not rank and file nor in the same unit too, remember, so at this kind of distance with the space that this game is offering between them, you probably won't even notice. So I'll be using a mixture of all these guys, I'm sure, when I start playing. So, alright, well that's all I gotta say today. There's a big mess now on this table that I gotta clean up. But yeah, Mortal Gods March 2019. Check that out. I know I'll be playing probably. If I don't play, I'll definitely get a ton of Footsore Miniatures models because they're awesome. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for watching. You can like and subscribe, and if you have any comments or questions, just let me know. Thank you.